my friends, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. Today's video will be the next installment in our party banter video series. Enjoy!
So, why would the crows send you, Zevran?
Is there some reason why they should not?
Plenty of reasons. Starting with the fact that you weren't exactly the best they had, were you?
Slander and lies. For shame, Alistair.
I'm not an idiot. Well, not most of the time. You're no raw recruit, but I've seen you fight. You're no master of combat by any means.
Assuming that I intended a fair fight, that would indeed be a problem.
But the crows must have master assassins the way you describe them. Men with years and years of experience. Why not send them?
Why not indeed? It is a mystery for the ages.
Oh, I get it. You're not going to tell me.
Morrigan said you were sharp. No liar, she. Still with these stern glances, Alistair?
You didn't answer my question about why the crows wouldn't send their best man.
So for that, I must suffer all these fearsome glares? Oh, you are cruel to subject me to such torture.
If you aren't telling me, there must be a reason.
If you must know, the masters do not often take contracts outside Antiva, and I made the best bid.
Best bid?
We agreed to pay the guild a portion of whatever the contract offers. The one who agrees to pay the most gets the contract, so long as the guild deems them worthy.
And they thought you were worthy?
Against a pair of Grey Warden recruits. Apparently so.
Were there many who wanted the contract?
None. You are still Grey Wardens, after all. And even in Antiva, killing members of your order is considered impolitic. It made the guild's decision considerably easier, I imagine.
Well, that's comforting. Somehow.
I find it very odd.
It meaning me. Am I in it now too? I feel honored.
For one who professes to be a warrior, I find it remarkably weak-willed and indecisive.
Thank you?
It also likes to hide its many weaknesses behind a veil of jocularity.
For a statue, you know a lot of big words.
Is there a reason it enjoys following others so much? Especially when it is in a position to lead?
Have you ever been responsible for someone else's life? Or a lot of other lives? Or an entire nation?
Of course not.
Then shut up.
I will remember this moment when the birds come.
So do you ever want to go back?
To Honleith? Perhaps it should stare at a patch of grass for 30 years and then tell me how much it misses it.
Point taken. Still, if you can't remember anything else ever, it would be scary to leave, I think.
Fortunately, I am not as comfortable with the mundane and familiar as some.
Ooh, ow, ow. Sort of an adventurer, I see. Brave new world, that sort of thing.
And instead, I should be content to remain in that village, standing still out of fear of the unknown? What life is that? I know what I am now. I know how I was made. I can move forward. It, who has had so much more, should do half as well.
Thanks for that. I feel really good now.
A pleasure. Next time we shall speak of its grammar and personal hygiene. I am told that it lost a large number of comrades in the battle with the Darkspawn.
Me? I guess I did, yes. I didn't know all of them that well, however. Mostly just Duncan.
I'm unfamiliar with this name.
It's not important. You don't need to know who he was.
I cannot remember if I ever had anyone important to me. All I remember is being given orders.
I would gladly be following Duncan's orders right now, if I could.
It enjoys following others. I find that odd.
You wouldn't understand. Don't worry, I don't expect you to. So, Shale, when you were standing there all that time, did you sleep?
I have no need to sleep. My body does not tire or do other flesh-related functions.
But don't you get bored? Wouldn't you want to dream at least?
I do not dream. This is what it does when it sleeps. It paws its nose and mumbles incoherently.
Yes, of course. I thought we all Huh. You watch me?
I watch all closely when they are still at night. There is little else to do.
For hours and hours?
I count the breaths. It helps to overcome the overwhelming urge to crush their faces while they sleep.
Well, I won't be doing much of that anymore. So tell me something. Do you feel pain when you get hit in combat?
This is when it squeals loudly and spurts blood about. This is when it feels pain.
Maybe. I've seen you take some bad hits. Don't you feel anything?
Anger, rage even, perhaps a little distress. Is this pain?
I'm not sure. I don't think I'd call it distress, exactly. It's more...
For me, it is more...
That sounds more like a bowel movement. I mean that sharp, stabbing... Like that?
No, nothing like that.
No? Huh. Good to know.
So, I have a question for you, dwarf.
Oh, sounds like you're passing a stone there. Get it? Passing a stone?
I do get it, yes. My question is this. Had the Anvil of the Void not been destroyed, does it believe the dwarves would have used it?
You mean to create more golems? Oh, yes. Faster than you could squish a nug.
Even knowing the agony that it caused, they would still inflict it on others?
No need to inflict it. There'd be plenty ready and willing to sign up, just as you did. There's fewer and fewer of us each year, and the Darkspawn never run out. If it meant saving Orzammar, there'd be plenty who'd become a golem, sure.
Does it think it was wrong to destroy the Anvil, then?
No. Sometimes people need to be kept from doing stupid things, even for good reasons.
It is referring to its former wife?
I think some statues should sod off and ask their sodded questions to someone else. Hey, you stupid mutt. What are you looking at me for? Well, you better get moving, you great sodding pile of potential poo. Don't give me that look, dog. You're about one lifted leg away from becoming a new pair of boots.
Do you really know what's going on here? The Blight, the Civil War? I really wonder how much of it you understand. We're all special, big parts to play. Even you, especially you in some ways. You are the Mabari. You guard one of the most important people... What? You want to play? But I'm talking. Why doesn't anyone want to hear me talk?
Watch where you're going, you sodding great horse of a dog.
Oh, he didn't do anything to you. Let it go.
One day, someone's gonna kick you, beast. Not saying who, but someone. If you just stood still for a minute. You like Oghren, don't you? Ogren's your friend. That's right, we understand each other. Now, stand still, you stupid mutt. Oh, come on! You're so melodramatic. Haven't even put the saddle on yet.
We have dogs in Antiva. They run in the streets and eat garbage. It's true. They're treated as vermin mostly. Not like here in Ferelden. You're rather lucky to live here, you know. Indeed. Here they make statues of dogs. They carve you into their thrones and put armor on you. Amazing, really. But you still smell like a dog. In fact, you smell like several dogs. Yes, well, ignorance is bliss, I suppose. I've thought about your predicament, my friend.
It has thought of a way to lure birds out of the sky?
I mean, your situation. being made of stone and such, I imagine it must be terrible for you to see others together, you know?
Together? As in standing next to one another?
I speak of love, my sturdy friend, and the act of love. Surely this must bring you discomfort, knowing you can never partake in such pleasures.
That is disgusting. It was bad enough that I had to suffer the occasional pair of villagers lying in my shade, but the idea of partaking...
You are stoic, my friend, and brave. You do us a great honor by suffering in silence.
I was not suffering, silently or otherwise, until now.
I understand.
So, here is a question for the Painted Elf.
Painted elf? Oh, that's me. Oh, I do like that.
Am I to understand correctly that the Painted Elf is a crow?
Not literally, but yes, I am a crow.
As in a bird?
Is there another sort?
So the Painted Elf assaults helpless statuary with its feces?
If given sufficient cause, why not?
That is outrageous. The Painted Elf will stay away from me, or else.
I get a lot of that.
I'm curious. Will the Painted Elf answer a question?
Why not? I appear to have all day.
The Painted Elf attacked the Grey Warden, and yet it still lives. Had the decision been mine, its skull would be pulp right now.
Oh, I don't know. Could you destroy something as pretty as I am?
Easily. I fail to see how any measure of attractiveness would make one difficult to crush.
Perhaps you do not know how to look then. Take a long look at our Grey Warden, my good friend. Right there, we have an object worthy of worship, no? One would have to be blind not to realize how very pretty we all are and how important that is to preserve.
Perhaps there are definitions of blind I have yet to understand.
I noticed some dog drool in my pack this morning. Not that I like to make accusations, and I even appreciate the artistry behind a good burgle when I see it, to tell the truth. But leaving all that drool as evidence? Sloppy. I'll take that as an apology. I'm so glad you're pleased. It really is quite something to find such enthusiasm in one's companions. I agree. Go team. Hurrah!
You look as though you want to say something, Wynne. What's stopping you? You've never held your tongue for politeness' sake before.
No, it's nothing.
Why should that matter? Been plenty of occasions in the past when you've had nothing to say and said it anyway. Loudly, in fact.
Loghain, you are not making this any easier.
My apologies. I should certainly not be complaining that you've no vitriol for me.
I would rather have something scathing to say to you, but I do not. I feel I should admit that I have been mistaken about you.
As it is a rather brave thing to admit a mistake, I will only say thank you.
Yes. Well, it won't happen again.
So, you're a Ferelden girl who decided to live in Orlais.
I did not decide to live in Orlais. My mother took me there with her. I know how you feel about the Orlesians, but I am not one of them.
You may as well be. You grew up there, your views and values are theirs. I've heard you speaking with the others. You find Ferelden unsophisticated, barely civilized.
No, this is not true.
You're painted to look like you're a Ferelden, but scratch the surface and find nothing but Orlais underneath. I've seen you eyeing me, Wen. Trying to watch for the moment when I turn on you.
I thought you'd be more likely to attack me in my sleep, actually. Isn't that what you do? Strike when your quarry cannot defend themselves?
You've made your point.
I do not trust you, Loghain.
I've become a Grey Warden. I've made promises. If I break them, my life is forfeit.
That does not give me much reassurance.
That's not something I can change.
I will remain wary of you, Loghain, for a very, very long time to come.
Tan Loghain, you must have great stories about King Merrick.
Oh? Are you looking for a new slant on the ones they tell in Orlais?
No. Oh, does everything have to be about nationality with you? Why must every moment of life have to be a matter of politics? Do you think they do not admire Merrick in Orlais? Because they do. There is nothing like a dashing rebel prince to capture the imagination, you know.
Even when he rebels against you.
Especially then. It makes him roguish, much more romantic. And if he must face overwhelming numbers of chevaliers with only a few untrained farmers, then he's even more valiant.
Leliana, this runs counter to all sense and accountability.
People aren't sensible creatures all the time, and stories are accountable to no one. Have you never loved a tall tale simply because it made your heart race? You can all you like. You know I'm right.
What are you playing at?
I beg your pardon?
He may be young, but he's no fool. I doubt he's forgotten what you've done.
Madam, I've no idea what you're trying to suggest. Speak plainly. If you wish to accuse me of something, do it.
Oh, I have so many things to accuse you of, Loghain MacTier, that I hardly know where to begin. But I'll save them for another time. For the moment, know that I am watching you. Don't think a few friendly words for the Warden will put everyone off their guard.
If watching me amuses you, madam, feel free. Now, if you don't mind, I have things to attend to. You can stop scowling at me, madam.
Did I need your permission? I see.
Fine. I confess. It was entirely my idea that Uldred consort with demons. I had a dastardly scheme in which the utter destruction of Ferelden's best weapon would benefit me personally. Are you satisfied now?
Do you think your deal with Uldred was where you earned my contempt? I was at Ostagar. I witnessed Kaelin's murder.
Such loyalty.
What is that supposed to mean?
Did you try to save him, then? My apologies.
I was fortunate to escape with my life.
So you didn't rush to your king's rescue? I see. And both of us left the boy to die.
I was no general at the head of an army. I could never have reached him.
And I had no magic that could break those Darkspawn ranks. But perhaps you think I ought to have tried regardless. No doubt the lives of mere soldiers are cheap in the eyes of the Circle.
And what of all the soldiers who died with their king? Their lives were worth nothing to you.
You think so, do you? I knew their names, mage, and where they came from. I knew their families. I do not know how you mages determine the value of things, but they were my men. I know exactly how much I lost that day. Tell me, what did the Qunari come to Thedas for?
You know the answer.
Do I?
Yes. Why did humans come here?
Humans have always been here.
Have they? The elves tell another story.
That happened so long ago, it can reasonably be said that humanity has been in Thedas forever.
You have a strangely short view of eternity, then. I didn't think it was a human practice, making a comrade of a defeated foe.
It isn't. These are unusual circumstances.
It is encouraging to see.
Encouraging? How so?
Perhaps your people are becoming more like Qunari. You could do worse.
Do you mean to say that Qunari do make comrades of their beaten opponents?
Qunari do not waste resources, and few are more valuable than lives.
How exactly do you go about making your enemies work for you?
We're a persuasive people, if you couldn't tell. Why did you leave them?
I beg your pardon?
The men at Ostagar. They were your brothers in arms, were they not?
They were.
Your place was on the field.
Do Qunari soldiers never retreat, then?
We never need to.
We do.
So, is it Lord Loghain?
I'm no longer a Terran, nor even a knight. Address me without a title as you would any other Grey Warden.
So just Loghain, then?
Correct. What's on your mind?
You know who I am, yes? I was one of the crows you hired to kill the Grey Wardens.
I thought you looked familiar.
Well, I just wanted to report that I failed my mission, Loghain.
You don't say.
I'm terribly broken up over it.
Well, thank you kindly for informing me. I saw a golem like you once, back when I was fighting in the army with Marek many years ago.
Good for it.
Could you be the same creature? You were more servile then. The pet of a mage in Arl Rendorn's employ.
Do I strike it as servile?
Not at all. Perhaps I'm mistaken. I would no doubt remember such sarcasm.
Then we're in agreement. It could have won its battle. It knows this, surely.
I am to be subjected to the golem's ruminations now. Charming.
It said that it did what it had to do in order to protect its nation. But that is not quite true, is it?
I have no idea what you're talking about, Golem.
It could have slain the woman, Anora. Then it would have been made king long before any challenge could have been made.
You are speaking of my daughter, if you're not aware.
I am aware. It said, however, that it would do anything that it had to. But this was not true.
I was unwilling to kill my own daughter, yes, that is true. You think me weak for it?
I am uncertain. Had it known then what it knows now, would its decision have been different?
No, I would not have killed her, even had I known.
Then I am content.
So tell me, Shale, if you had the opportunity to become flesh, would you take it?
It does seem rather preoccupied with this topic.
Humor me. Would you choose to live, to breathe the air and taste the flesh? Or would you remain the immortal stone that you are?
Would I also get to age and bleed and become sick and die?
Of course. These are the things we accept for the blessing of being what we are.
Then no, thank you. I have no need of such frailties.
You are once a dwarven woman, with dreams and passions and all the rest. Does that hold no sway for you?
Why would I wish to be that woman again? She gave up her body willingly.
And what of family, of children? Life does not begin and end with yourself.
I have no desire to produce offspring.
Your form is wondrous, that's true. But while you do not suffer the lows of life, you also do not experience the highs. It is something to consider.
It is nothing to consider. What it speaks of is impossible.
Here, some smoked boar safe from supper. It'll do you good. I had a Mabari once. Adala, that was her name. We found her in the woodshed one night. She was still a pup then. We never figured out where she came from. My mother called her a gift from the Maker. And she really was. She was beautiful. She had a lovely chestnut brown coat and the most intelligent, understanding eyes. You would have liked her. We grew up together. She never left my side, not once. 10 years we had her, before she was taken away. Another time, perhaps. Finish your snack. Oh, don't give me that face. I'm betting you want the cheese in my pocket. Very well, here you go. Don't eat it all at once. Or do, whichever you prefer. I used to keep cheese in my pocket for Adala, too. I think the rinds were her favorite part. I mentioned she was taken from us, did I not? This was when Orlais still ruled, and it was an Orlesian lordling who took her. He wanted to mix the blood of our noble Mabari with their frail, wasp-waisted gamehounds, which were bred for looks, not intelligence. Tried to keep her, but there was little I could do to stop the Orlesian. I wasn't even a man then. You can imagine what it was like for her, being torn away from the boy, the family she was bonded to. It was 6 months before we saw her again. The Orlesians returned her, and when I say returned, I mean pushed her out of his wagon. She was skin and bone, and still carried the scars from where their pronged collars bit into her neck. She never quite recovered. She passed away after a week. It was as though she held on long enough to come home to us. I held her head in my lap. I believe she died happy.
And that wraps up today's Party Banter video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you again tomorrow with another new Dragon Age Origins video.